Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. Here on the map Acropolis, we should have ourselves a good one here today, as it's going to be Phobos taking on a very sharp bot, SharpenedEdge. Touching can cause serious injury. And so we're going to see how these two handle each other, as Phobos is a very interesting Terran bot. It's built around timing attacks, that kind of thing. But then, it just really contrasts, Eris and Phobos, which, despite being written by the same bot authors, are kind of designed in different ways. As Phobos really does rely on that sort of tank Viking timing attack. It's not necessarily all about macroing up. And its opponent here today, SharpenedEdge, is a little bit notorious in the sense that it does like to go for Tempest Rushes. So we'll see if it's going to pick that build or a different one against Phobos here today. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if we can get a like for every SCV on the map, that would be amazing. 18 likes. And then leave a comment down below saying more bots if you do want to see more of these bot casts. Yeah, subscribe if you haven't already, as we put out daily videos here on the channel. We also put out some YouTube shorts. And then if you guys do want to support this commentary, consider becoming a YouTube member. And let's see, is this probe going to delay the command center? It is programmed to be aggressive, and it looks like it may just about get this SCV. A couple of bros do come down to help out. The probe didn't target the injured one there, and then the Reaper does pop out and delete it, but that was very, very close for Phobos, it almost having its command center delayed a little bit. Now SharpenedEdge behind this is just going for multiple gateways, so no Stargate, no second gas yet either, which is interesting. Just wanting to prioritize that Nexus, get out as many units and as much muscle as possible. A Zealot on the way behind this Stalker. Meanwhile, the Reaper of Phobos is just looking around for any kind of cheese, that kind of thing, and not finding it. But yes, I do like the Scout from both of these bots. If you're a bot author, that's something you have to consider, like collecting information, how you're going to go about that. Do you go for an early worker scout, or do you use air units to potentially scout, or scans as the Terran, that kind of thing? This SCV is definitely slacking for Phobos, so that's not ideal. That's a little bit of lost money, as I guess it didn't get a command to resume building after that finished up. But, yeah, we'll see if it does eventually head back to work, or if it'll just sit there forever. Behind this, SharpenedEdge does have a Robo on the way, which I'm actually quite excited to see how this goes, because honestly, the past few games I have cast of SharpenedEdge, it seems like it's been Tempest Rush, Tempest Rush, Tempest Rush. So it potentially playing a gateway-heavy style here is definitely going to be exciting to see. Meanwhile, in this game, we do have Phobos going for a lot of Marines and a couple Widow Mines. So who knows, we might even see a drop or a push from the Red Terran. And that means SharpenedEdge's heavy gateway production is going to be quite important here. Slow warping on that sentry. I guess that pylon was a little bit too far away from the Nexus for SharpenedEdge. And then we do have, let's see, a Medivac out for Phobos, and here we go. It is just going to be a Widow Mine drop, a classic Terran build, but not something we see all that often in these bot games. So this could be potentially very effective if SharpenedEdge doesn't have any kind of reaction programmed in it. I mean, there's a million ways this could go wrong for the Protoss bot, because, for example, what if the probes are programmed to attack a threat and group up on these Widow Mines? As we do see a Widow Mine getting unloaded, the probes are not reacting. Okay, they do end up reacting, and look at that, very awesome split. So actually, that was handled phenomenally by SharpenedEdge, just showing us how advanced of a bot it is. I guess it did lose 5 probes, or I guess 4. Pardon me for this giant battle cruiser graphical glitch that is parked in SharpenedEdge's base. I need to rewind at the start of games on Acropolis to apparently get rid of that, but I forget sometimes. Now we do have a Raven on the way for Phobos, a third command center going up, and a third Nexus going up for SharpenedEdge. So aside from that little bit of harassment, we've got a respectful macro game building up between these bots. A Phoenix, a hallucinated Phoenix, is being tossed on out by SharpenedEdge. That's quite important, as again, it's a very effective way to gain info from your opponent with those hallucinations. Not the most ideal pathing there, as it does kind of path where an army would usually be set up. But wow, look at this. Phobos not just going for a third command center, but going for a fourth one as well. So really delaying some of its production, just staying on 2 racks, getting up Stimpack, and then actually a planetary fortress at the third base. This is not something I think we've seen out of Phobos previously, so this bot definitely has been getting some tweaks made to it, which is one of the reasons why I cast it. I tend to cast bots that recently get updates. However, unfortunately, this fourth command center attempt may be shut down by the army of SharpenedEdge. Raven tosses out a few auto turrets, does focus down 1 sentry. We are now getting some hallucinated Archons to soak a bit of damage, but SharpenedEdge does split up its army a little bit, eating some tank shots. This one Immortal is skirmishing with Marines, but a successful attack does cancel that 4th base. While this is going on, though, Phobos does have another base building down here. Just this attack is very, very important, so we're going to keep eyes on that. The tanks are doing a good job, and there's the planetary, which, well, is very difficult to kill with a small amount of units. So Phobos does seem to have quite a nice defensive setup, as this Immortal is now being attacked by a few angry SCVs and will indeed go down. So yes, a very, very successful defense by Phobos. I mean, losing the 4th command center does suck, but when you've already got a new 5th base building, that's quite awesome. There is another SCV that perhaps wanted to get in on the building action of this command center, but that does not happen. Phobos, though, still has that 5th on the way. It's getting out many racks behind this, so it will be building up its army. +1 attack on the way, ship weapons on the way. Behind this, SharpenedEdge does just have Blink. Gravitic boosters being researched, interestingly enough, which I believe is the Observer speed upgrade. Yes, that is correct. And then we do have +1 attack on the way for Phobos, concussive shells, another planetary going up. So Phobos not relying on that mule money, just really locking all its bases down, as this 4th command center is just about to finish up. All this investment in production, in economy, means Phobos doesn't have the biggest army right now, but then again, neither does SharpenedEdge really. But it does have a few more units than Phobos. But give it like another, I don't know, 5 minutes or something. Oh, not even 5 minutes, another 2 minutes. And Phobos is going to have a phenomenal just production cycle and the ability to make a lot of stuff. The Protoss bot does have Blink, but Charge is still being researched. So these Zealots will be very slow, but we'll see if they can potentially shut down this attack that's coming out from the Red Terran, as Phobos is getting aggressive. Really, really changing up its playstyle, though, just going for a mass eco play. More like a Zerg version of, or more like a Terran version of Eris than what we've seen from Phobos traditionally. Now, the Terran's attack isn't going to be successful, as SharpenedEdge does have a ginormous army that just rolls up on top of this. Medivacs are going down to the Stalkers. These air units can definitely be picked off. We'll see if there's an offensive Blink to catch these Vikings or not. A lot of bots are programmed just to be defensive. Hallucinated Phoenix is still flying around, getting lots of vision, and Phobos' attack does fall short. It seems like it still wants to have an engagement, though, as it is moving forward with another tank, just a bit of bio. The Terran bot is producing 3 Ravens at a time, which is very bizarre. That's not something you see really Terran bots or Terran players do all that often. A tank is being repaired, but all the repair will not save it from that ginormous Protoss army. SharpenedEdge does have its own 5th base getting up during this. Meanwhile, Phobos, that's got to be what, its 7th base that it's now building. But you can have all the bases in the world. If you don't have an army that can stop this Protoss wrecking ball moving across the map, things can be very problematic. So yes, Phobos will need to muster a good defense here as SharpenedEdge is coming in. A very cool warp in at this prism as the Protoss moves in with this big ground army looking to kill off this planetary. The SCVs are being targeted down by some of the stalkers. Zealots moving forward. Auto turrets are being tossed on down, but there's just no way that this planetary will stand without support from Phobos' basically whole army. And oh man, look at this Sim City that Phobos is building. It's almost walling itself in. Thankfully not, as there is still a little way around there, but who knows, maybe tanks are actually going to be stuck behind that wall. The warp prism did go down, but now SharpenedEdge is actually going to try and break this Sim City. That could have actually great results for Phobos if it can just fight in this choke point, as these Zealots are not getting through. There's one Marine kind of blocking that. So this really is a big test for the pathing of both of these bots. All of a sudden, those racks will go down, though, so now the toss can spill forward as Phobos is just trying to hold on. It's got many tanks on the high ground, gonna be able to get lots of shots off. The bio is holding the line, but what an attack by SharpenedEdge, as it does try and break the natural of Phobos. But I mean, Phobos has got just such a good defensive position here. All these tanks on the high ground, the bio kiting back to the maximum distance there. And then there is plenty of extra bases for Phobos out as well, although it may be getting a bit of a SCV death spiral going, as it does seem to have some of those transferring. Looks like another planetary is established. Some High Templar run at that. The PF will delete those no problem, so that is a big loss for SharpenedEdge. And SharpenedEdge does not have the most successful attack trying to break this location, unsurprisingly. So the Protoss bot may need to pull back and regroup after that failure. More High Templar are hanging out at this planetary. The auto attack, perhaps stopping them from pathing into this PF, is quite important. There is also no Psystorm researched for them yet, interestingly enough. They're just moving around, slow High Templar, feedback being the only ability they have, but yeah, not morphing into an Archon, which does make me a bit curious. What is the requirements for SharpenedEdge to make its units into an Archon, as it's warping in the High Templar, but no Psystorm? And there we go, those two do morph, but the other ones, they didn't seem to be able to figure it out. And now Phobos has been able to stabilize and is looking to push out on the map, but that means it's going to potentially fight, not in this great choke point. However, the Stalkers are moving forward, whereas the rest of the Protoss army is kind of hesitant to go in, so that's actually a bit of a disjointed fight. Now some of the rest of the toss units do move forward, but then it kind of tries to pull back, so I'm not sure what SharpenedEdge is waiting for, as it really is eating a lot of these tank shots, and this is a little heartbreaking, as I think the Protoss did have the army to take on this Terran force, but now maybe not. A Disruptor does toss out a Nova, it does get a connection on a couple tanks, but yeah, SharpenedEdge having a very difficult time. It does try and pull the trigger for a second, but then the math changes, and it does end up falling back, so that's very painful. It could be because of the pathing that these units over here, like that they're all trying to group up, but it's not working. These High Templar also do not have Storm, nor are they turning into an Archon. So yes, very unfortunate pathing there for SharpenedEdge, as Phobos is doing quite well for itself with this push, and I'm not sure if the Protoss will be able to break this, as so many units have been whittled down. The Zealots are now going to try, as they do get on top of a lot of these siege tanks, and so it's not the worst trade in the world for SharpenedEdge, but pretty much all those units go down, and now Phobos can potentially just push in for the win. So we'll see if that happens. Cannons are going to go down very quickly. The Protoss has a good economy, but it's not going to be good for long, with probes being pulled into the fight. Mass auto turrets are going down from Phobos. And what a game this is by Phobos, which is also building production all over the place, which you've got to love to see. More command centers being built. And then, yeah, just SharpenedEdge. Really unfortunate that it didn't take the fight that it needed there. But I am wondering whether it just didn't think it had the numbers, or maybe it was trying to group up its army before going for the attack, but it couldn't because they were caught by those rocks. And yeah, it does look like that Phobos will take this one. So ladies and gentlemen, if you've enjoyed this match, click that like button. I think it was a really great match. I'll definitely cast some more Phobos games in the future. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Join the Discord, which is linked down below. And if you do want to support the channel, support the school fund, the honeymoon fund, whatever, yeah, do consider becoming a YouTube member. And yes, let's see here as Phobos tries to take the base of SharpenedEdge. That is one way to ensure your opponent has no bases if you take all of them. And yeah, we might even have to have a rematch between these two. So if you guys do want to see that, let me know down below. I can go ahead and request some of the games on AIarena.net. That is one of the cool features you can get if you do support AI Arena on Patreon, which I'm not affiliated with in any official manner at all. We wouldn't have these awesome bot games if AI Arena didn't host them. And you guys can put your own bots on this ladder if you're a programmer, or even if you're not a programmer and you want to give it a shot. I mean, if you guys saw my bot, you can see I'm very clearly not a programmer, but it's fighting it out on the ladder. SharpenedEdge showing us good redundancy in that it's trying to rebuild, but I'm not sure that's going to happen in this one, as Phobos will clean everything up. The Protoss bot just not able to make this one happen. Siege tanks deleting all these buildings. What an army by Phobos. And I gotta say, I really do like this new iteration of the Terran bot. It really is. It has a lot more depth, it seems, than it did previously. It's definitely still got like that Phobos building logic with building so many barracks. It ended the game with 18 racks, which isn't the most we've ever seen from it, but it is a lot of production. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning on in.